Join me for my new reading series in 2025, where my Kindle books battle it out for a place on my bookshelf. Hello, fellow book lovers. I hope you're having a really lovely day. My name is Annie and this is The Book Forest. Since 2020, I have solely been a Kindle reader. Well, occasionally audiobooks, but mostly Kindle. When my son was born, his dad bought me a Kindle so I could read during the night feeds, and it changed the way my reading looked forever. I now much prefer to read on Kindle because 1, the books are cheaper, 2, I can take an entire library of books with me wherever I go, and 3, I can highlight and annotate books without having to take an entire pencil case of equipment and accessories with me everywhere. I can just highlight it with my finger and then make a little note, and it's so much easier. But I still love having a bookshelf. I love shopping for physical books. I love the way they feel. I love the way they look. And I love having a little trophy shelf, which is where I put all of the books that I have loved on my Kindle on a shelf. So where other people's bookshelves are full of books they have bought, books they haven't read yet, books they might not have enjoyed, mine is pretty much solely books that I have loved and think they deserve to be on display. When I read a book on my Kindle that I love, I then go out and buy a physical copy and put it on the bookshelf. And that means I have a gorgeous display of books that is made entirely up of favourites. I know that some people believe that Kindle reading is not real reading and that you're a heathen if this is your desired method of reading. Well, I say bollocks to that. However you decide to consume your books, it's valid and you are welcome here. Reading is such a beautiful experience, and if you choose to read all of your books via audiobook or ebook or children's picture books or 1 book a year, good for you. You are still part of the book community and nobody can tell you otherwise. So my original plan was to do a quarterly book haul where I would show you what books have made it onto my trophy shelf. One of my 2025 reading goals is to get a bigger shelf so I can fill it with more books that I have enjoyed this upcoming year. So a quarterly update felt like a good way to share that with you and show my progress towards that goal, and also just show you some pretty books. But then I had a better idea and this series was born. But before I get into that, let's give credit where credit is due. I have been loving, and I mean loving, to the point where it's bordering on addiction, the series that have been popular on BookTube this year that follow a read it or unhaul it type of structure. My favourite has been Becca's Shelve It or Scrap It, where she is trying to get rid of an overflow of books and fit them on her shelves, and she has to read it. If she likes it, a book has to come off the shelf and that one goes in its place, and if she doesn't like it, then she just unhauls it. I have been watching those religiously and really enjoying them. Another one that has recently started is Gavin's Emboss It or Toss It, where he random generates a book from his unread TBR and he reads it. If he likes it, he uses a little book stamp to say like, this is in Gavin's library, and if he doesn't like it, he unhauls it. Those types of videos, I don't know, they just speak to my soul at the moment. They are so satisfying to watch and they're very simple, but they are just so entertaining. If I had a physical TBR like a lot of other people on BookTube do, then I would absolutely join in with that trend. But because I don't do that, I was sort of feeling like, oh, well, I can't really join in on this. I can't do that. But then I saw a comment on Gavin's video and somebody said something like, oh, wouldn't it be so lovely in like 100 years someone started collecting the books that Gavin had embossed, and it would paint this really pretty picture of who Gavin was. It would be like collecting somebody's library and you could see what they enjoyed and get a picture of who they are from the books that he has embossed. So thank you to whoever left that comment, because this has inspired this series. So I smushed my trophy shelf idea and the read it or unhaul videos together, and that is how we got Buy It or Buy It. So for me, I am going to pick a bunch of books off my TBR and read them. Duh, that's what you do with a TBR. And if I like them, then I will buy it and it will earn a place on my trophy shelf. And if I do not like it, I will buy it and it will go. So this is a really good way to compare books and really look at what makes a favourite and what doesn't make a favourite, things that I don't like in books, comparing them to things I do like in books, and curating a beautiful trophy shelf that really reflects who I am as a reader. There may be some videos where every single book book is an all-time favourite and it makes its way to the shelf, and there may be videos where there are no books that earn a place on my shelf. It's entirely possible, who knows, we will just have to see. I have already picked my books for this month's episode of Buy It or Buy It, and I'm really excited. Even if nobody watches these videos, it's going to be so fun for me to do and to track. I'm really excited for this one. So today's video is basically setting up that project, and I'm going to show you what's already on the shelves, go through it a little bit with you, sort of like a bookshelf tour, and then in the next video we can see what makes its way to the shelf. I am very fast running out of space. This shelf is going to have to be upgraded, and I have bought books that don't fit. So let's just go through what is already on my shelves. Hello, angle change. So let's go through the books that are on my shelves. So the first section that you can't see all of it is my middle grade shelf, and this is protected by my little sock creature. So the first one is The Beast and the Bethany, which I read in 2020 or maybe early 2021. This was really cute. I really enjoyed it. This one does not have to stay on this shelf. If I run out of space, this is a contender to go. The next book is Dreadwood, which has featured in my book haul. I will link that if it has already gone up. This one I haven't read, but I do think this is going to be a favourite, and I saw it in the works really cheap, so I wanted to pick it up just in case it was a favourite. I didn't want to pass it up just in case. Then I have the first and the second book in the Eveline Jones series. I really enjoyed these, but again, they weren't favourites, so this could go if I run out of space. Like, this is definitely a contender to leave the shelf. Then I have Coraline. Again, this isn't read, but I can't get rid of this because somebody sent this to me back in 2020 when I first started my BookTube channel, and then I took a massive break. But somebody sent this to me and I think I'm gonna love it, so I just can't get rid of it, and it is high on my priority list because I am sure this is gonna be a favourite of mine, so I'm keeping it just in case. Then we have A Pinch of Magic, which is a magical middle grade following three sisters. This is such a lovely book. This is one of my all-time favourites. This is not going anywhere. Then we have The Double Trouble Society, which is a middle grade following two girls who think a witch has infiltrated their town. I read this one in 2024, really enjoyed it. Really lovely, really wholesome. This copy I got off Vinted, very cheap, but yeah, really happy for that to have a place, so this isn't going anywhere. Then we have Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow, another middle grade. Really enjoyed this one. So magical, so lovely. The other books in the series were great. The next book of this should be coming out this year, and I'm really excited to get my hands on it. This one is absolutely not going anywhere. Then I have The Wizard of Oz. I also have, oh, you can't see it, where is it? The Wizard of Oz entire box set is over there. My partner got me that for Christmas. I bought this one for myself. It's lovely. It's not going anywhere, plus I only just bought it, so that would be a waste of money. But yeah, I like the Wizard of Oz books. Very magical, very cute, not going anywhere. Then I have the first book in the Amelia Fang series. I haven't read this yet, but I do think I will love it. I've been wanting to get my hands on it for so long. I saw this on sale in the works and I had to pick it up because I have a feeling I will love it. But if I don't, then I will just put it on Vinted. Problem is with these books that I have got and have not read, they are taking up space for new books to come on the shelf because they're not coming off until I have read the book on my Kindle. So they are taking up space for potential new favourites, which is a problem. Then I have How Not to Be a Vampire Slayer. This is a lovely middle grade that follows a vampire, and then the second one follows a werewolf. Really lovely, absolute favourite of mine. This isn't going anywhere. I have the first book in the Isadora Moon series. This is a very small children's book series. I did own all of them. I have absolutely loved these. They're just so magical. It follows Isadora Moon, who is a half vampire, half fairy. I have recently unhauled all of the other books because I'm not going to reread them, but the first one has to have a space on my shelf because I love her. They're great. Then we go into the adult section of my shelf. I know it's weird to go middle grade adult YA, but the YA section is obviously a lot bigger, so it's just where there's space at the moment. First, we have Juniper and Thorn, which is an all-time favourite of mine. Really dark, twisty fairy tale, really dark, but absolutely adored this. Then we have The Lighthouse Witches by CJ Cook. Absolutely loved this book. This is an all-time favourite as well. Absolutely not going anywhere. This is a weird one. This is a discovery of witches. I actually DNF'd the Kindle book to this years ago. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, just because it was so long and I just couldn't get into it. I'm gonna give it another try, and I do think I will love it when I eventually invest the energy into this chunky book. But yeah, I do think I will love it. This is about vampire and witches, so this is taking up a big chunk of space on my shelves, but I do think it will be worth it. We will have to wait and see. Then we have Wicked. Do not talk to me about this book. I hate this book, but the cover is so pretty and I spent $10.99 on it, so it's not going anywhere, even though I hated this book. Then we have You Let Me In by Camilla Bruce. I got this copy off Vinted. This is one of my all-time favourite You smell. Oh, you smell. This is one of my all-time favourite books ever. Absolutely loved this book. There is not a chance you could ever get me to take this book off my shelves, ever. Then we have Come Closer by Sarah Gran. This is a horror, but it's very, very light horror. It isn't scary at all. You could convince me to unhold this book. You absolutely could. But next is The Collective. This is a good for her thriller. I haven't read this, but this went on sale for £2.99. I've been trying to get my hands on this book for ages. 2025 is definitely going to be the year that I read it. I really like good for her thrillers. They are a big tick box for me. I really enjoy them. So I do think I will enjoy this. This is having a space on my shelf. Hopefully soon I will have an answer as to whether it's staying on my shelf or whether it's being unhauled. Next is such an ugly cover book, and absolutely clashes with the vibe of my shelves, but this is How to Kill Men and Get Away with It. Absolutely loved this book. This was such an amazing book. I had to have a physical copy. So onto the YA section. Okay, so these hardbacks are completely wedged in. I cannot get them out without taking everything else out, but I have Every Heart a Doorway, which I absolutely loved. My partner bought that for our first Valentine's Day together, I think. Really like that book. Then I have The Wicked Deep and Winterwood by Shane Earnshaw, two absolute favourites of mine. I got really pretty hardback covers from my local indie bookstore. Absolutely adore. I loved these books. Then I have the American cover of The Hazelwood, which is one of my all-time favourite books. This is new. I just got this off Vinted for £1, even though it is such a pretty cover. And like I said, it's the American one, so I would have expected to pay a lot more than £1. Really pleased with this one. Very pretty. Then I have my original copy of The Hazelwood, which is the Waterstones sprayed edges. They are so worn because I've had this for quite a few years, but yeah, this one isn't going anywhere. The Hazelwood is one of my absolute favourite books. It really made me fall back in love with reading and realise my love for horror-y, dark fairy tale vibes. So yeah, absolutely not going anywhere ever, despite owning 4 copies of it now. Next is This Poison Heart. It has such an ugly spine. I have recently ordered one off Vinted, a hardcover with a prettier spine, because this just clashes with the rest of my YA books. They're all black and dark other than this one, but this is an absolute favourite book of mine. I fell in love with this book when I read it, so this isn't going anywhere at all. Hell would have to freeze over before I parted with The Poison Heart. Then a recent buy of mine, this is The Witchery. I have not read it. It is on my TBR. It is something that I want to read soon. It just had such a pretty cover, and it's witches and it's YA, and I couldn't say no because it was only like £2.50 or something from my local indie bookstore, so I had to buy it. Next is Girl, Serpent, Thorn. I really enjoyed this book when I read it. Was it an all-time favourite? No, but I bought this in York from a gay bookstore and it was just such a lovely experience. Next is All Our Hidden Gifts. This is a YA witchy book. Again, I have not read this. This went on sale for literally like £1.99 on Amazon, so I picked it up. I do need to get round to it. It has been on my wish list for so long. I really do need to get a Kindle version of this so I can finally have a verdict. Next is House of Hollow, one of my all-time favourite books of all time. I absolutely love this book. I talk about this book all the time. Absolutely loved it. Hoping to get this cover as a tattoo at some point this year. Just adore this book. Let's move on or we'll be here for hours, but yeah. Never ever going anywhere. Next is All the Dead Lie Down. This is a beautiful book. I bought this from my indie bookstore, haven't read it yet. Very high priority. Next is My Throat an Open Grave. I also bought this in my local indie bookshop along with All the Dead Lie Down. It's just stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I just can't wait to read it. It feels so weird saying I can't wait to read it while I'm holding it in my hand, but like I said, I'm a Kindle reader, so I need these to be on Kindle. It is absolutely pointless that I have bought these books before buying the Kindle book. I know, don't shout at me. I'm going to stop doing that in 2025. We are going to break that habit this year. I'm not doing it anymore. Next, I have Bloom, same as the last two. I bought them in the same shopping trip. Absolutely cannot wait to read this. Like, this is really high priority for me. I think it's going to be a 5-star read. Next is Gallant. This is a book I have read and enjoyed, but I didn't love. Like, I enjoyed it, I didn't love it, so I'm not 100% sure why I chose to put this on my bookshelf. I think partially it's the cover. This was a little bit of a cover buy. The cover is stunning, let's not lie, and the book was good. It wasn't an all-time favourite, like I would die for that book, but I did enjoy it, and there's something to be said about that. So this will stay on my shelf until there is no more space for it, and then it will probably go, but for now it's staying. It's a lovely book. Next is Twin Crowns. I am currently reading this, but by the time this video goes up, I will most likely have finished this book, so you will know whether I liked this or not. I currently don't. Obviously, I'm not doing it in a buy it or buy it video because I already own it, and yeah. So I have it on Kindle, I have it on paperback. I will see whether this paperback ends up being taken off the shelf or whether it keeps its space. We will see. Next is Belladonna, which I bought for the same reasons as Twin Crowns. That is another one that I need to get round to. Then we have Little Nothing, which I picked up from the charity shop. I think I'm gonna love this one because it's a dark fairy tale. Again, we'll have to wait till it goes on Kindle to see, but it's got a beautiful cover and I'm happy to have it on my shelf at the moment. Also, some of these books aren't necessarily like in the right section. I think this may be an adult, and I think Bloom is also adult. I will move them around once I have read them. It's not that deep. This is a middle grade, but it's on my YA mystery thriller shelf just because that shelf is a little bit empty. This will probably end up going into middle grade once my shelves are a bit more fleshed out. But this is a like Victorian-esque murder mystery thing for kids. And I haven't read it, really want to. Saw it in the charity shop, had to pick it up because I didn't want it to pass me by. Next book on my mystery thriller shelf is The Naturals. This I have not read, but my partner bought it for me, and I am actually looking forward to picking this one up. And then we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is another YA thriller mystery. Really actually enjoyed this one. Didn't think I would, but I really did. I enjoyed the other books in the series more. I thought this was a banger. No, that is a lie. I thought the plot holes and the reveals in this were shocking. I really did. Everything was predictable. It was just a load of nonsense. It was absolute crap. But I liked the sequels. I liked the character development. I liked how dark it got in the last couple of books. I enjoyed those, but I wanted to have the first one on my shelf instead of just one random book in a series, although maybe that would make sense because that was the one I enjoyed. So no, this is not an all-time favourite, but books 2 and 3 are favourites. So yeah, maybe I should get book 2 or 3 instead, especially as they have darker covers and would look better on my shelf. But this was a £5 on Amazon, so I picked it up. Then on my bottom shelf, I have 2 classics that I have not read, but I want to get around to soon. I have a hardback copy of The Hazelwood that does not fit on my shelf. There should be 2. Where's my other one? I have another one up here and a hardback signed copy of Everless. These are favourites of mine. Everless is one of the books that got me back into reading when I had had a long break when life just got in the way. I had to have this on my shelf because it was significant in my reading journey. So yeah, I got a hardback of that from Vinted for £1. Then I also completely forgot about this, bought a copy of Serpent and Dove from Vinted. This is a stunning condition book. Really pleased with that. So actually I can take this cauldron out and put you there, and then it's like a whole full shelf. I read Serpent and Dove a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed it, so I thought it deserved a place on my shelf. That is the trophy shelf in its current condition. Like I said, by the end of 2025, hopefully this is upgraded to an entire big black bookshelf with all fairy lights on it, and it will look all pretty and cute. So yeah, I don't want to ramble on anymore. That is the concept behind Buy It or Buy It. I am so excited for the first episode. I am so ready to buy some new books or finally get some books off my TBR and just see if I can discover some new favourites and put some books head to head and compare them and contrast them and do all that fun stuff. I am very excited for making this series. Please subscribe if you would like to see that series. It will be coming within the next couple of weeks, fingers crossed. If you would like to see any of my other videos, there are lots to choose from. I try and post 2 videos a week. I only try, I don't promise. Don't hold me to it if one is missed, but that is the aim. And yeah, I'm just gonna let you go. Please, oh no, before you go actually, please comment which one of those books that I have not read that is on my trophy shelf you think I should prioritise. So the ones that have not been read and need to be read so I can decide whether they stay on the shelf or they come off. You have to let me know down in the comments. I would like your suggestions and I will try and prioritise those ones first. Have a really lovely rest of your day and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.